Hey everybody, so this is my first Kirblog for Saturdays. If you hadn't heard from my previous update video, I'm going to be doing these on Saturdays and Tuesdays every week now. So this is the one that I have for today. I'm doing it on Friday night. And I wanted to talk about something relating to the last couple videos I've been doing about these Wii U games that I've been playing, but a little bit more of a broader subject. I was talking with this guy, Endshark, who's a really talented artist that you should definitely go follow on Tumblr. Look him up, and he's working on a game right now. I was talking with him about some of my experiences playing these Wii U games. I've now played through and beaten by this time Super Luigi U, The Wonderful 101, and Sonic Lost World. All of the main quests of those games. Haven't done the extra material for each of them yet, but I've gotten enough of an experience with each of them, and enough of a handle on the Wii U controller and all of their individual controls. So yeah, he and I were talking about the idea of what makes for satisfying controls in a video game. Because I was really thinking about it. Part of the reason why I wanted a Wii U for Christmas this year was because I wanted to get my hands on the tech. I haven't. My most recent new system before that was a 360, which broke. Unfortunately, got a red ring. And the Wii U is my first system of the current generation that we're kind of going into with Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and whatnot. And as of right now, I don't have any major interest in the other two. The Wii U is just kind of more up my alley in terms of the games I was interested in playing, and the system just seemed a lot more unique and something that I wanted to give a shot at, because I think the system has a ton of potential that game companies have barely just scratched the surface of, and there just has to be some more new and interesting ideas on what to do with it, and make some some really inventive designs for games. And we're starting to get some really good ones. I think that the Wonderful 101 in particular was an example that was really interesting and really cool, and made some pretty good use of the technology. But yeah, so I was thinking about it, and the three games that I've played now have all kind of ranged in terms of the satisfaction of their controls and the concept of them and the execution of them and whatnot. So I'm going to kind of compare the differences between them. So Super Luigi U, which is just the model new Super Mario Brothers engine basically, but with some slight tweaks to befit how Luigi's personality is. He's got kind of some elements of the Super Mario Brothers 2 play control, where he's a little faster, and he's got the flutter jump where he can stay in the air longer and can jump a little higher than Mario. So the Mario games have generally always had really, really tight control. Even the ones that were kind of unpolished, like Mario 64 from way back in the day. Even though they're not perfect, they still hold up pretty well. And the new Super Mario Brothers games in particular, say what you will about them regarding the aesthetics of them, or how original or inventive they may or may not be, whatever. The fact of the matter is, unarguably, to me, they have really, really tight, solid controls. Definitely some of the pinnacle of just classic platforming controls. And why wouldn't they? It's a Mario game. They absolutely set the precedent. And Super Luigi U in particular, I think, was that really perfect combination for. I said this a little bit in the review of it, but that perfect combination of people my age who would want to play a really challenging Mario game, but still having the same kind of fairness and kind of taking the same basic engine of the previous new Super Mario Bros. Games, and in particular the Wii U version, which was the most updated as far as I know. And I think that it's the basic. You have a button you hold down for running and jumping, and you have the spin jump and everything, and ground pound, all the basic new Super Mario Bros. Controls. And the levels are just short enough to where speeding through them and hitting everything and catching the little star coins along the way. The star coins are the one thing. Those are the kind of interesting things about these sort of platformer games, where there's always a couple collectibles in each stage, and you sometimes can't help but want to grab them, even if you just want to get through the level as quickly as possible. And I know that I would often catch myself just trying to get them as often as possible, at least if they were in plain sight and I knew I could, go out of my way to get them. But it's everything about it is all perfectly designed around the controls being like very perfectly timed to where you can, just kind of get through each obstacle with just the right move at that moment. If anything, I almost think it kind of took some nods from Donkey Kong Country, where if you guys know the Donkey Kong Country games well, you know that each level is designed to where like if you just run, go straight ahead, and basically like just go for it, you can get through everything in a stage just like really quickly if you really know that game. Like Donkey Kong Country 1 in particular, like you just speed through the goddamn thing like really quick. If you just like go for it and just like be super brave the entire time. And Super Luigi U in particular, I think was very much designed that way. All of its levels were very satisfyingly like timed out in a perfect way to go along with the sense of speed that you have. Great, even kind of on a Sonic perspective, which I'm going to get to Sonic Lost Worlds in a little bit. But yeah, Super Luigi U, incredibly satisfying controls for a speedy, challenging platformer, like 100%. Okay, now next, the wonderful 101. Now this is going to go into a little bit of a different subject here, but so again, I mentioned a little bit on my review of it before that the controls have a little bit of a learning curve. You use the left control stick for moving your team of superheroes around. The right control stick, you use them to arrange them in different formations, in which case you kind of draw different symbols to get them to become different weapons. And then you have, I think the top of the four buttons, I forget what the letters are, but the top one is for a team attack, which is kind of like sticking all your Pikmin on like a monster or something kind of like that in Pikmin. And then you have the attack button, you have the jump button, and then the shoulder buttons are used for guarding and dodging and using different special techniques that you can purchase throughout doing the game. Now, the biggest part of the learning curve, to me anyway, when I was going through it and kind of getting used to everything for the first couple levels, the biggest part of the learning curve, I think, is just figuring out exactly what it is that you need to do against each type of enemy. The biggest, the first most frustrating thing that I kind of ran into was fighting these tank enemies that would keep like shooting at me, and I didn't know what the hell I was supposed to do to, kind of counteract them. And then I was realizing, if I guard right as they're shooting a cannonball, it bounces it back at them. And then also, if they shoot a cannonball and it lands on the ground, I can suck it up with the Unite gun, and then I can shoot it back at them, and then that gets rid of the shield, etc. And it took me a few levels before I actually figured out that was what I needed to do to take those types of enemies down. And that's what it really is. That's what the whole game is about. It's just like it makes you really think. It gives you everything that you need to do what you got to do. But you have to actually think and really analyze, okay, what is it exactly that I need to do here that will work best for this exact situation, and for some people that can be kind of frustrating. And the weird thing is, for a lot of what people have aggravation with too is that tutorials are just obnoxious. And I agree. I don't like big long ass tutorial sessions or whatever. I think it's typically it's much better if you can just just kind of learn the game as you go along. There are little tutorial screens in Wonderful 101 that teach you this little basic hit this button to do this with this attack or whatever. Just literally just an image showing you what it is, and it's all right, I can dig that. It's simple enough, not too obnoxious, not too whatever. But through the demo, again, I was seeing a lot of people were kind of getting a little too frustrated with they just throw you in and you're expected to figure it out. And I don't know, I feel like there is some value to that and just kind of moving through it, and the level is designed to, to just kind of help you figure it out, and then, you go through trial and error. And because that's what I did. And the thing is, even though I was aggravated with, why can't I beat these tanks? I don't know what the hell to do. It felt really satisfying to me when, later in the second, third or whatever level I went to, and I figured out, I guard, and then it deflects the cannonball, and then this and that or whatever. I feel like it was more satisfying when I eventually figured out how to do it on my own. And then from there on out, the control is when you know how to do all the different, draw the different symbols with the control stick or the touchscreen or whatever. And, you can kind of use them at your disposal. Then it's okay, now this is second nature. Now I just got to, think and figure out, okay, the sword is good for this, or the shield is good for this, or the gun is good for this, etc. And then as you're kind of just switching between them, it's like, yeah, like you have like, this real sense of like power like at your fingertips, literally to you know, like just kind of move through it, and then like, you know, then just the story and the aesthetics and everything just kind of like take the front seat, and you're just like moving through it, and you feel really empowered, and that's what's part of what's satisfying about it. But the thing is, for some people, and I'm noticing a lot of people, they're not finding the patience to kind of, you know, learn the controls. I find that the controls of Wonderful 101, if you give them the amount of time that they need, you know, to like, you know, learn them, really properly learn them, which it didn't really take long for me at all. You know, then the rest of the game becomes really satisfying. But you know, maybe part of it is because people just don't have like the patience, or they just, you know, they don't find as much value or enjoyment out of like, you know, giving it some time to adjust to it and get used to it. I don't know, but I think that kind of ties in really good with you know, the next game, which is Sonic Lost Worlds. Now, again, I think I said this on another video as well, but I did try the demo of this game at New York Comic Con, and I played through, what was it? I think I played through Windy Hill Zone Act 1, and then Desert Ruins Act 3, like the candy level. And I tried, I'm like, okay, I can get this. And again, there's a little bit of a learning curve, even just through that little demo. And I'm like, all right, I can dig this. And I gave it a shot, and it seemed pretty okay. And so I played through the game. Now, let me say up front, I don't dislike this game, and I don't think that it's awful. A lot of people who were saying it was really like, oh, it's another awful Sonic game. It's not that bad. It's not great by any means, but it's not that bad. I would imagine it's probably on par with like Unleashed, which is like, you know, some people have some kind of mixed reactions to that one, whatever. But it's whatever. You know, I enjoyed it for what it was. I got through the whole thing. I played through the main quest, etc. There were a handful of levels that were very frustrating, and I went through a lot of trial and error. I will say regarding that, I do like that the extra lives in this game, they felt like they had some value, because like, you know, you need them to, you know, keep going, or you're gonna just completely get like effed. So, but as far as the control goes, so it's you have the homing attack, and you have the bounce. Which is supposed to be the kick, but I realize it's the bounce from Sonic Adventure, you know, 1 and 2, and I think even 06 had it. Which I'm like, all right, that's cool. I liked having those two attacks. I think that they were both pretty satisfying for what they were. I liked the targeting system for them. I think that actually like that was kind of cool. But the biggest thing about this game was the running button / the parkour button, which allows you to, you know, kind of navigate through things. Now, conceptually, when I heard this, I thought, oh, this is perfect. You know, and I'm sure some people are you know, not going to hear the idea of this and not be on board with it, but I loved it. I loved having that, okay, so Sonic is a little slower when you're just moving with the control stick normally, so you can get through the platforming sections with a little bit more ease. And then the the running and parkour button or whatever is for, you know, when you're like... when you have to move like quicker through an area, or if you need to like, you know, reach something like, you know, like running on like some of the walls or whatever, and say, okay, conceptually that sounds great, because one of the biggest problems with 3D Sonic games is the fact that if you're moving too fast and the camera's not keeping up with you or whatever, and you can't control what the hell you're doing, it's not working as well. So I thought, okay, maybe this will like really help with, you know, making, you know, 3D Sonic games challenging and fun and, you know, and satisfying to control. And part of me, okay, and I'm being serious with this, I don't know if maybe just like my shoulder button was like, you know, rolling what is it, the bumper, no, not the bumper, the trigger, the right trigger button, or what the hell, I don't know if it was like, you know, getting stuck or whatever, but I found that every time I tried holding it for a long period of time to stay in like parkour running mode or whatever, it was not staying down. And I don't know if that was because if it was my controller, or if it was just like if the control is programmed to be very finicky or whatever, but it was not staying in running mode when it needed to. It did help to slow down when I needed to get through platforming areas and I needed to be a little bit more, you know, high precision with it. But for when I needed to move quickly, it wasn't staying on track most of the time, you know? And I don't know, like, and maybe I don't know if maybe it would have been better if it was one of the four circle buttons or whatever, like the ABXYZ or whatever, or the ABXY that is. I'm not sure if that would have been a better route to go, but it was too tough, and it was just like wasn't working for me. And what comes into play with this too is my kind of question to you guys as we're kind of nearing the end of this one is do you feel that like easy and tight controls are better, or do you also sometimes kind of like the challenge of not having, the most high precision control? I'm not using Sonic Lost World as an example of that because I think that just in general it should have been tweaked more. It was a nice experiment. I don't know what they're going to do with the third Nintendo exclusive game again. I mentioned that before, but I don't think it's an exact example of that. But like Castlevania. Where like going in that your jumps are not going to be as accurate to get from one place to another or whatever, or what is it? Like I played GTA 5 briefly at JonTron's place, and I was like, whoa, holy crap! This character has like very realistic human physics, which was weird to me. I mean, maybe that's normal to most people who would play this kind of games, but that was like, whoa, this feels really weird because it feels too like heavy and like clunky and like human. But maybe that's part of the fun, it's part of the challenge to like kind of have that sort of unfluid movement, and you're like kind of navigating within the confines of it, to make it a solid challenge. What do you value most when what maybe that has to do with taste? Is it more satisfying to you to just have like very, very tight, slick controls, where you can just like boom, 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 move through everything like really quickly and do it, or do you think that it's more challenging and more fun to play through not like a crippled character or whatever? I don't literally mean that, you know what I mean, but like having some challenge to controlling what it is that you're doing and working within those limitations to have a fun experience out of that, because Endshark and I were talking about that, and it's kind of that's what's kind of difficult, I think, to gauge about players' interest when like game companies are like designing games and whatnot. It's like, how do you find the balance between that? So leave a comment. Tell me what it is that you find satisfying, and if you have any ideas for a subject to talk about next on my my vlog coming up on Tuesday, you can also write a comment about that. You can tweet me, Facebook me, Tumblr me, etc. And if you like this video, give me a like. If you want to subscribe and see more, give me a subscribe. And I got all the links and everything here and in the description as well. And also, I just released the first tome video that I'm going to be putting out in this new kind of release schedule, thanks to Channel Frederator with hooking me up and kind of helping me out on all this thing. And so to click this annotation here, and you'll be taken to see Tome Episode 1, Part 1, if you've never seen the show before. Or if you want to introduce some people to it, it's my my web show and everything. Give it a shot and take a look. So thanks, guys. Hopefully by the next vlog, my voice will be healed up. As you can tell, I still sound super low and weird compared to how I normally am. But hopefully I'll be back up to full speed soon. I'm feeling better and I'll be okay eventually. But that'll do it. And have a great one, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.